Shavua Tov, everyone, and we are in the parasha of Shemot, and we're starting a new book, which is called, in Latin, Exodus. So this is a famous book. This is a saga. You know, they made many movies about it. What's in it for us? So, just to explain, the story is the story of the Exodus, the Israelites coming into Egypt, and we're already starting this week already with the story of Moses, and Pharaoh, and the burning bush. Everybody knows the story, I hope so, because it's a bestseller for thousands of years already. So you're supposed to know the text. So what's in it for us? If we explain it with or by the story of the last book, Bereshit, Genesis, it fits exactly. What does it mean? As we said many times, every year, every human being gets a whole cycle of opportunities so that person, each one of us, can reach completion. However, when a year full cycle happens, then, and we are not complete, we need to get another opportunity, and we have to replan our route. And that means that we have to go back to the beginning. And that means that on Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot, Simcha Torah, we basically get this overall treatment by the Creator. He disassembles us, as we said, and reassembles us. And then by Simcha Torah, everything is complete, and we start on that day to read Genesis. As it says in Hebrew, La'atchil miBereshit. Starting from the beginning. In the beginning, God created the heaven and earth. Although Bereshit doesn't mean exactly the beginning, but for English it's okay. Now, as we're starting a new cycle, we have to reload all the updated programs of Abraham, Chesed, loving and giving. Isaac is the program of judgment and discipline and boundaries and stuff like this. And Jacob is the ability to balance between the two. That's not enough. You need to know how to manifest it and make it successful in your everyday life, every aspect of them. Physical, business, relationship, sexual, everything. This is Joseph. And you need to build the reception, the ability to have devotion and a vessel that knows how to interact with the light of the Creator. That's Yehuda. We pass through that through the whole book of Genesis. Now that all the programs are downloaded, and now that we are finally set, the job really starts. And it starts today, the first day of Parashat Shemot. We're starting, not just that, we're starting a special time that this year, because it is a leap year, which means we have 2 times Adar, 2 months of Pisces this year, so it's going to be Shovavim Tat. We have 8 weeks of intense hard work in which we can achieve another raise in our spiritual consciousness and whatever life is about. We have a huge opportunity in the next 8 weeks to lift ourselves to a place we have never been before. So, it is not an easy time because, and not by mistake, this time, according to the Book of Formation, is under the rulership. Most of these 8 weeks is under the rulership of planet Saturn. And planet Saturn, as the Rabbi Avraham ben David of Poskir said, Eino chafetz minyanei hachomer. Saturn is the planet of wisdom and spirituality, real wisdom. And he has no liking to anything of materialism. And that means that in the parasha and the next parashot, we have 2 forces playing over here. You have the Israelites, Moses and the Israelites, and you have Pharaoh and Egyptians. Now, whose side do you want to take? Whose side you are going with? Why? That's going to be very important. Because, let's say, why is this important? Because what Rabbi Zaklori is saying, when we are talking about the Exodus, yes, there was a story in history some 34 centuries ago. There was Israelites, there were human beings enslaved in this empire which is called Egypt. But that was in the past. What's in it for us? We all have the both sides. Because when it says, Ele Shemot Bnei Yisrael by Mitzrayim, these are the names of the children of Israel coming to Egypt. Rabbi Zaklori is saying, it doesn't say that came to Egypt. It's not in past tense about something that happened 38 centuries ago. We are talking about coming. This is continuous present. They are coming as we speak. Who is coming as we speak? Says Rabbi Zaklori, the powers of the soul are coming into the body. Why do they have to come into the body? Why do you have to be lame? What do you mean lame? When a soul goes into a body, it's confined into that flesh and blood which is the body. You are limited by your body. The worst case, you can put yourself on an airplane, but then you're limited by the airplane. When you are a soul, you're not limited. You can be anywhere, anytime, any moment, because space does not, and dimensions of physicality do not limit you. You can be anywhere. Why do you have to come to such a lame body that can, crawl like an ant on the planet Earth only? You can't go to the moon, you can't go to the sun. And if you go to the sun, you get burnt. If you are a soul, you can go anywhere. Galaxies, you can be everywhere. Why limiting yourself? Why limiting your eyes? When you are as a soul, you can see the whole universe in one glance. Why do you have to come into such a blind body? Blind, we can see. What do you see? Nothing. Nothing you can see. Can you see atoms? Do you see radio waves? What do you see? A reflection of something, basically nothing. You know, how many times do we say in our lifetime, we know a person? We plan any kind of a business deal, whatever we plan, and then it doesn't come the way we thought, the way we planned, and then we say, how could I be so blind? And how many things you didn't see how blind you are yet? Why do I want to be blind? Why do I want to be limited to this physical limited body? And the answer is, as Rabbi Zaklori is saying, Ein tikun ela beguf. The only correction you can do, which means turning darkness into light, feeling like a creator and saying, let there be light, you have to be in a dark place. And that dark place is the body. And when you say, Ele Shemot Bnei Yisrael Bei Mitzrayim, these are the names of the children of Israel coming to Egypt. It speaks about every human being, that the forces of the soul are coming into his body step by step, not at once. And they're coming always. Why they're coming? Because only within a physical body you can really elevate yourself, because only in the physical body you have enough illusion of pain, suffering, misery, blindness, splendor, confusion, that you can overcome that and feel real, true victory, because you lit your own chaos. That's what you need your body for. And that's why it says they are coming, that are continuously coming to Egypt. Hebrew, Mitzrayim. Mitzrayim, the word is Shoresh Mem Tzadik Resh, the narrow place. As we said, now we understand. Egypt, in this story, this fable, is the narrow place. What is the narrow place? The body, with its stupidity, with its noise, with its, hormones, and all of this stuff that pulls you down. Now, which side do you want to take? Do you want to take the side of the Israelites? The soul, wisdom, spirituality, just going above anything that is logical, that anything that you know, and reach true freedom? that is not limited to any physicality? Or do you want to side with the Egyptians? They get 10 plagues. They get hit by, if you read the Haggadah, Passover Haggadah, not just 10 plagues, 50 plagues over here, 250 plagues over there. The Haggadah gives you a list of hundreds of plagues there, over there. Which side do you want to take this next 8 weeks? That will determine if these are going to be really painful, troublesome 8 weeks, or it's going to be an amazing journey of liberation the next 8 weeks. You have to decide which side are you taking. This is what we're heading in the next 8 weeks. Be careful which side you're taking. Now, as we said before, planet Saturn does not care for physical stuff and materialistic stuff. How do you know? How many Capricorns do you know? They build, they work hard, they want to gain, they want to achieve, they want to control. They have to control. And then poof, it's all gone in a split second. Why? Saturn says, you don't need it. I must, I have, I should. Okay, they start working all over again. And it's hard. Capricorn people, they are hard workers, right? They know they should work hard because that's all about hard working. And it's gone all over again. Sometimes somebody says, I had this lay and I had a business, I lost the business and I built this and I lost the business again. Are you a Capricorn? So how did you know? I said, okay. It looks like it. Why? Because Saturn does not let you hold on to what you don't really need. And when you're holding on to elusive securities, Saturn will be the first force in your life to take it away. You think it's a plague, but whoever is plagued is your body consciousness, not your soul. And that's, when you're spiritual enough, then you look at your body and say, it comes to you, you deserve it. You deserve it. You were taking me that direction. Okay, you deserve it. As we said many times, there was one person in the history of mankind that everybody talks about, that he thought that he can take it with him. Pharaoh, right? He built the pyramid. Can you think about the GDP of Egypt that went into building one pyramid? How many schools, clinics, all kinds of projects for the welfare of mankind they could build with that money that went into the pyramid. One person's tomb, right? Was that enough? No. He took all the treasures he could into his grave. And as I say many times, and where is Pharaoh today? He's in a traveling show. Once in that museum and at another museum, he does not deserve to rest in peace. He has to pay back to society whatever he took. So if somebody has an idea and he thinks, that will make me secure, think about Pharaoh. That's not going to give you security. A real security is your connection with the Creator that you create every day, every week, every month, every year. You look a week ago, a year ago, and you say, did I get closer to the Creator or not? That's the only thing about, was that journey successful or not? So simple. And if you side with Egypt, and you side with the oppressor, you side with the body consciousness, wait for the plagues. They are coming. How many people, they don't care about spirituality. They mock it. They laugh at you. I love physicality. I love food, and I love money, and I love this, and I love this, and I have it, and I have the appetite to swallow the whole world into me till the plagues are starting. And then a person whining, can I be spiritual? What should I do now? No? As we say, there are no atheists in the foxholes. Right? When the mortars are starting to get close to your hole where you're hiding, you've been a devout atheist till not long ago. And suddenly you're starting to pray. Why? Because Pharaoh says, hey, Israelite, you piece of soul, pray for us because we're going to die. Oh, now you care? Now you admit I exist? Yeah, you pray for us. Maybe you get us out of it. I don't believe I can do it. That's, you need the plagues in order to be spiritual. How many people become spiritual after everything falls apart? Right? Very rarely. People become spiritual just out of nowhere. Unfortunately, that's our nature, that's how we are, that's how we built. We are a soul into a body, and the body is Egypt, and after you've been beaten up, you start to wake up. Okay? So now that we understood the shallow aspect of the whole book of Shemot, now the question is, how do we do that? How do we get it from this book? How can we become free? Real free. A lot of people, they're free on paper, which means they live in a country that is free, the land of the free. And you look at the person, he's a slave. He's a slave to his body, right? It's almost impossible to enslave a free human being. A real free human being, you can't enslave them. Look at Joseph. We spoke about him the last few weeks. He realized what freedom is about almost in the beginning. Yeah, on the outside he was a slave, but in the inside he was a winner. He was a great winner, just waiting for his moment. And his moment arrived as he built it up. So everybody else thought he's a slave. He knew he's a king. And that was enough. As long as I know, and my Creator knows, who am I, that's enough. And you know what? The others, they'll find out. And did his first master, Potiphar, treated him as a slave? No, he gave him all the power, ruling over all his assets. Then he went to jail. Was he a slave in jail? No. The guy that was responsible for the jail gave him all the power to run the jail. And when he becomes directly to be under Pharaoh, Pharaoh says, no one in all of Egypt is going to raise his finger without you. I'll be above you just by title, but you do everything. Is that a slave? Oh, he was Pharaoh's slave. Nobody can enslave a free human being. The story is like the cliche about a woman that is beaten up by her husband, and she's a victim, and she's dead, and then she runs away. Someone helps her, and then she marries a second time. And usually it continues the same story over. It's not that you have to get away from the beating husband. It's you have to get away from the consciousness of being a slave and a victim. And without that, changing husband is not going to solve the problem, because the problem is basically within. Not that we are not blaming, God forbid, the husband. We hear in our society we have to blame someone. Yeah, but why did she get him? Again and again, first version, second version, third version of the same cruel creature, right? Because so we laugh at that woman that she's being abused by her husband, but we all have this abused woman within us. In many, many issues, we are that victim that allows circumstances, other people, to abuse us. We all have that slave inside us. And that's why when we read the Haggadah, we have two opportunities in the year to connect to that power. One on Passover. What do we say when we read the Haggadah? Each one of us has to see himself that he is leaving Egypt right now. Same about the next 8 weeks. We have to see ourselves that it's happening to us. They're not talking about a nation some thousands of years ago. It's not a story that is good for tradition. It is my story right now, over here. Nowhere else, over here. This is the story. So, how, again, we didn't answer the question, how do we get out of here? So here comes the awareness. It's all about awareness. What's the name of the book? In Latin, Exodus. In Hebrew, Shemot. Shemot, names. This is the book of names. Exodus sounds much more logical. Yeah, but we learn what logical has nothing to do with reality. So leave your logic away. The book of names. Yes, it says, these are the names of the children of Israel coming to Egypt. So what are these names? So, first of all, this is the book of names. What does it mean, the book of names? All the, there are few stories. There is the story every kid can see. And most people, even when they are 90, 100, they still see only that part. They didn't realize that, the first time you read the story or heard the story, you've been 5 years old, 6 years old, something like this. Maybe even before the Haggadah, Passover Haggadah. So you heard that story before. Didn't think that you grew up since, and maybe you should look at it differently. The book of names. And then you'll see it's all about the names. Mount Sinai revelation and the giving of the Torah to the nation of Israel happens in this book. And the Midrash is saying, the legend, Kol HaTorah Kula Shmotav Shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The whole Torah are names of God. God's names, the whole Torah. And we have in this, everywhere we look at, we'll see like the story of, one nation wants to come out to freedom, and God is behind that nation against the cruel, dark, bad guys. If good guys and bad guys, that's very easy over here. On the other hand, you'll see there's a game of names through the whole book. Okay, because it says the names. Which names? Using names is the major way to uplift ourselves. Which names? The names of God. What do you mean the names of God? When you study the teachings of Rabbi Zakloria, he teaches us how everything in this universe is basically names, only names. That concept appears the first in the Book of Formation. And whoever saw the movie Matrix, it's inserted over in that book very strongly. It shows you, like if it happens, let's say you working with your computer, and you push a button by mistake, and then instead of having a picture or a movie or text in front of you, you see instead of it lines and lines and lines of all kinds of equations. Happen to you? Yeah, happens. What's that? That's what really is there. What you see is not what's there. What you see is just a reflection of what's there to the eyes that you can use. So it's translated to your eyes because your eyes cannot see the formulas. In a movie Matrix, it shows you that when a person reaches that level of total freedom, he realized that everything is letters combination, everything is frequencies, everything is formulas. This is our universe. It's not, usually a successful science fiction movie is a fable about our own life. That's why it's successful, because people relate to it. But when you want to tell someone, you want to teach someone, you want to say A plus 2B plus 3C gives you 0. Okay? What's A, what's B, what's C, blah, 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 blah. So you try to solve the problem. That's an equation. Okay? But the problem is, kids don't get it, so what do? You make a story. There were 2 kids who ate, each one of them 3 apples. And there were also 3 other kids, and they ate pears. Wait a minute, you make a story. Isn't that the way to teach? It's a way to teach. When you put it into a story, the brain can follow. Most people can't get to that point. They need the story. The Torah is giving us a story. Our life is a story. But there's what's behind the story. Because when you're working with your computer, and let's say you see the text and you see there's a correction, you have to do in the text. So what do? And so there's a joke about that person doesn't know how it works. He takes type how do you call it, typo, any smears on the screen, did you change the text? No. When you give an order to print, it will come out with a typo mistake, right? Whiteout, it's called whiteout. Okay, when you have a typo, you put a whiteout on the screen. It's not going to change it. Same thing the Kabbalists are saying. When you see something wrong in your life, whiteouts are not going to clear it. And what's whiteouts? Denial, cover up, more denial, and trying to change the narrative. Today it's another thing, the narrative. You know, my narrative is that it's okay. It's okay, so why are you so miserable? Because your narrative worth nothing. Why do I know? It doesn't serve you. So you're just trying to excuse yourself. Why is it okay to be such a failure? It's not a narrative. It's a whiteout. Very simple. So don't play. Don't play. You're kidding yourself. So how do you change? You have to know how to access the file, not on the screen. The file doesn't sit on the screen. Where is the file sitting? Inside somewhere. You know what? You're working on a cloud. It sits, you have no idea where. It sits in a computer farm, some server farm, somewhere, cold usually because you don't have, in Canada or maybe in Siberia. You have no idea. And you don't really care. But it's not on the screen. You should know that. So when we spoke about Abram, we said that Abram had this the most amazing startup in history. Till Abram's time, people were idol worshippers. What does it mean? They could only complain. They didn't mean to do anything about that. Why? The whole idol worshipping was, you have nothing to do with that. The moment it's decreed, that's the way, it's karma, it's destiny. Shouldn't do. If you try to do something against it, you're going to pay dearly. Just read the Greek tragedy. The more you try to fight your destiny, the more you pay for it. So, live it. Stay miserable, because life is about being miserable. And you know what? Most religions are like this, even till today. Being a monotheist is saying that the whole world is one. You know what it means that the whole world is one? That Abram said, you are also you and you and you and you. Each one of us is part of that one. How do I go online? You need a password. That's a name. You need a username. That's a name. You need a keyboard. Oh, Abraham found the keyboard. That's the Hebrew letters. On his keyboard, there were 22 keys. And what does that mean? That till Abraham's time, and even till today, a lot of people experience of life is being in jail, stuck, confined in jail, no way to get out. There's a screen above showing you a black and white movie, same terrible movie all over again. Again and again and again and again. Abraham found a remote. This remote was a keyboard. And he also found the username, the passwords. Abraham hacked into the system. And he realized, not that it was illegal, it was very legal. The system was created for each one of us to hack into it. So you don't change with a whiteout on the screen, which had nothing. You can go right into the file and change it in the seed level. That's our job. So, when you go to Rabbi Zakluria, when you go to the Book of Formation, you see in the Book of Formation those lines of letters and letters and letters and letters and letters. All of these combinations are basically called God's names. Everything is God's names. And the names of God are basically the language, the high-tech language behind everything that we see. So when you learn Kabbalah, you learn something very simple, which it takes a long time to get it. We said it a few times. You look at this. This is a cup of water, correct? Is it? A Kabbalist doesn't see a cup of water. He sees over here the light of God being projected in 3D to something that looks like a cup of water. But he sees the letters combinations that are in the file within that is responsible for that projection. So what do you see over here? 99.99999% is the light of God. Just the file. The file of water, H2O. This is 0.0000% of what is there. And that's a vessel. That's the real material or matter inside it. Matter is only an illusion. Because the energy can be reassembled if you reassemble the letters combinations. Which means you can turn that water into gold. Reminds you of something? Do you remember something? Yes. During the Dark Ages, there was a whole clique, in Europe especially, and they called themselves alchemists. And they, using any kind of stuff they managed to take from Kabbalistic sources, although they were most of them Christians, they tried to change the file, because if I find the key, the name to change the password and the username, and I can change the file, why can't I turn this cup of water into gold or diamond? Kabbalistically, of course you can. Of course you can. Of course you can. And there are many, many stories about every great Kabbalist, all the Tanaim that people wrote, they all knew how to do that. If you heard about the Gollum, the famous Gollum, there were many Gollems, but Gollum, not Gollum, Gollum was a famous story about the Maharal of Prague, the chief rabbi of Prague in what is Czech Republic today, that to protect the Jewish community in his time in the 1500s, he created a golem from clay. He made this something that looks like a human being, and he put the name of God in his mouth, and that thing came to life. They say that the Frankenstein, well, it's like derivative from, they heard the stories. It was in the same neighborhood, by the way, right? And that golem protected the Jewish community till there was no need anymore, and the rabbi simply took the SIM card out of his mouth. The guy went back into a pile of clay. Now, you have to understand, everything in this universe is the light of God. It's confined and contracted into the same way that a slide, you change a slide, you change a picture in the projection of a slideshow, correct? But you can project that same slide on a wall for thousands of years. The moment you plug out the electricity, that picture will disappear, right? So if you understand that everything in this world, in our world, there's no matter. Matter is illusion. The word even in Hebrew, chomer, for matter, is the same letters if you reorganize the letters, me-ruach, from spirit. It's a projection from spirit. So do you understand why is it? When a person has money, food, power, and he connects only to the external projection, not to the inner force, why it's never satiating? Why it's always like elusive sense of power, and there's no power? Elusive sense of satiation, but there's no satiation. Why? You're still hungry. But I ate so much. How come I'm still hungry? You're not hungry for the projection. You're hungry for the real light. But your awareness does not allow you to tap into that light. So you're a slave to the all external projection. So when it says, these are the names of the children of Israel coming to Egypt, says the Zohar, Shaninu, we learn, Kol makom shegalu Israel, every place the nation of Israel went to, as an exilers, Galta imaim ashchina. The divine presence, the Holy Spirit, went with them. Kan, but this one was the most famous, the exile into Egypt. This one it says, Ve'ele Shemot Israel. Why does it say, and these are the names of the children of Israel? Kevan shenimar b'bnei Israel, ma'u et Yaakov. Why does it say, these are the names of the children of Israel coming to Egypt? Et Yaakov with Jacob. We said already. How come his two names are appearing in the same sentence? And we already said he's coming. Why do you have to mention him again? And the answer is, Ele Shemot Bnei Israel. These are, we're not talking about physical people. We're talking about chariots of light, of power, of spiritual forces coming into the physical body. And now you have to learn as a human being to discern, separate between the real and the fake, between the truth and the lies, between the light and the darkness. What's the tool? What is the vehicle that you use in order to make it happen? Your consciousness. So why? Because your consciousness is like a huge telescope or microscope, it doesn't matter, that the moment you focus all of those little rolls inside, suddenly you see what you didn't see before. Isn't that what learning is about? Educated people, they see stuff that ignoramus people don't see. Why? What is that? The seeing. What is the seeing? The seeing is about the training of your mind to, that's what life is about. It's all about how do you analyze the information. One person looks at the market and says, oh, terrible, everybody's losing right now. Is that true? No. One person said everybody is losing, but some people are making a lot of money right now. Where is all this money everybody's losing going to? One says everything like everybody's losing, and another one says now you can buy it cheap and make a lot of money on it. Which means, is that reality? No. This is the way you learn how to read reality. And your mind, your consciousness, the way you create it, that's the way it reads and interprets reality. Opportunity, disaster, whatever. Some people never see disasters, they always see opportunities. Some people see always just disasters and nothing but disasters. How's everything? Terrible. Always. Yeah, there's some good thing, but it's a fake. Sooner or later, you see it's going to fall apart. It's terrible. It's already going to fall apart. That person, he's nice, you see, soon enough. Everything you see, the economy, yeah, it's nice. It's all fake. It's going to collapse soon enough. It's a bubble. That's how you train your conscious mind. Now, if you train your conscious mind to connect only to the outer elusive picture, just what's on the screen, what do you get? Nothing. Simply nothing. You go all your life, and the more you walk, the more nothing you get. So what happens? You age fast. You become bitter, miserable, hopeless. Why? Because you're sure that that's the way the world is. As Rav Ashlag is saying, that's like a worm that was born inside a radish. This worm is sure that the whole universe is cold and bitter and moist and hard. If that worm will meet a worm that grew up in a ripe strawberry, it won't believe it. That the world is soft and sweet and full of colors, right? No, you have to be locked in, right? So that's what Rav Ashlag is saying. It's all about consciousness. So what is studying Kabbalah? What is studying Torah? It's about training your consciousness to be able not just to read reality, but to hack into the system and to start playing with the files and turn negative into positive, failure into success. It's all in our minds, in our hearts, in our mouth also. Everything is there. You choose life. That's what we learn from that. So, when we're talking about the Israelites coming to Egypt, yes, there was a story like this about people going to physical Egypt, but we're talking about those forces of the soul coming into the body. These are holy forces coming into the body in order to fight and win the game. Amar Rabbi Shimon, says Rabbi Shimon, כשירדה שכינה למצרים, when the Holy Spirit, the divine presence, came into Egypt, ירדה חיה ושמה ישראל. That was a being that is called Israel that came with it. What's that being? In the image of that Yaakov Avinu, Jacob the patriarch. What does it mean, that being that is named Israel? Look, Yaakov has two forms. There's Yaakov and there's Israel. What's the difference? Yaakov, the shoresh, the root of his name is Ain Kuf Bet, Akev. Akev means the heel. This is the lowest part in the human body, the densest part. The part is touching the physical earth. Yaakov had to come to fix that. But when he fights the angel, the dark angel, finally he holds him under his control. The angel says, let me go. And he says, give me a blessing. Give me your blessing. I want control over you everywhere. That you will say, okay, that's what when we control our body, what is a fight against the body? Stop complaining and moaning and being reactive and being negative and being a victim all the time. It's enough. Whatever I'm doing, you're going to approve it. When I'm happy, you're not going to instill this like sarcasm. Why you're happy? Why? You already paid all your bills? Did you always solve all your problems with all your family members that you're happy? If I'm not going to be happy, how am I going to solve anything? So, you body, I want you to approve. When I'm happy, I'm going to be happy and you're going to join it instead of trying to rain on my parade. Correct? And then the angel gives him a blessing. Your name is not Jacob anymore. Your name is Israel. What is Israel? If Jacob is the heel, Israel, says the Zohar, is the letters of Li Rosh. I've got the head. What does it mean? I took the power. I took the lead. I have the ability. I have the wheel. That's the first thing. Another thing is, I am completing, finally, controlling that being, that is called Sfirat Zeranpin, which is that's an interface between the powers of God and this physical world. It's called the spiritual realm. How? Because the word Israel has the initials of Avraham, Aleph, and Sarah, Sin. Yitzchak, Yud, Rivka, Reish. Yaakov, Yud, Rachel, Reish, and Leah, Lamed. Now that's what Israel means. This is the chariot of having the ability to rule all of these forces. So when you have that, when you have all of those programs, you have a green light to move on. Now I can move on. Whatever you're going to do, it's going to be right. Why? Because you're using that place, that state of mind that is inclusive and spiritual. So that is what is called Israel, which is a spiritual being. ו42 משמשים קדושים עמו, וכל אחד ואחד אות קדושה עמו משמו הקדוש. And 42 angels serving him. Each one of them has a holy letter with him from his holy name. All of them went to Egypt. What is that 42 angels with 42 letters? That's called the name of 42 letters, which is known also as the Ana Bekuach prayer. But what is that? So, There's a Kabbalistic secret telling us that inside the first 42 letters of the book of Genesis, in Hebrew, the original Hebrew, there's a very complicated mathematical code. You know, some of the big intelligence would like to put their hands on it, that hides inside a special code. Using that code is your ability to eject yourself from the illusion. When you find you're stuck in the illusion, that you're enslaved into an illusion, that your brain can't let go of it, you start Ana Bechoach Gedulat Yeminecha Tatir Tzerua. And then you concentrate on the initials. Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Yud, Tav, Tzadik. You turn one key. Second line. Kabel, Rinat, Amecha, Sagvenu, Tareinu, Noah. Kuf, Reish, Ayin, Sintet, Nom. That's the name of 42 letters. This is one of the most powerful names of God to unlock the illusion and to eject yourself above it. Why 42 letters? Why not 83? Why not 37? Why 42? Oh, as we said, this is the book of names. Everything is the names of God. Everything. But if you take the holy name of God, the Tetragrammaton, that's only 4 letters. Yud and Hey and Vav and Hey. Oh, but you can spell them out. As I said, when I said Yud, there are 3 letters in that word, Yud. Yud, Vav, Dalet. When I say Hey, 2 letters, Hey and Yud. When I say Vav, 3 letters, Vav, Yud, Vav. When I say Hey, it's another 2 letters. How many together? 10. 10 letters. So how much we have all together? 4. And then 10. That's not enough. But when you have it spelled out, what do you have? Yud, Vav, Dalet. That's a third, a tertiary level of spelling it out. How many letters now? 28. 4 plus 10 plus 28 equals 42. Where can you find it? Let's say the Kaddish. Somebody passes on. His relatives say Kaddish for him. The first words of the Kaddish, Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah. 4 words. Second line, בעלמא דברה קירותי ואמליך מלכותי ויצמח פורקני ויקרא משיחי. 10. Then, יש שמי רבה מברך לעלם למי עלמי אסון till בעלמא, the end of the sentence, 28 words. Isn't that exactly what we just built? 4, 10, 28 gives you 42. And it's also, 42 is 3 times 14. What's powerful about the word 14, the number 14? Yad. A hand. When you want to lift someone that fell, the most safest way to lift them up is 3 hands. Why? 2 hands, you can fall over. 3 hands, can't fall anywhere. Chesed, Gvura, Tiferet, right, left, etc., but that's the safest. And that's why when he says about that Israel was taken out of Egypt, he speaks about the strong hand of God, the mighty hand of God, 3 hands, right? That repeats itself in the Haggadah. 3 times a hand. That's 42 again. And it's all around the names of God. All of those letters combinations, these are the formulas of accessing those files and transforming them. So that's the first thing. It says this chariot has 42 letters in the holy name of God. What do you need to know the name of God? And by the way, if you learn Hebrew, he has so many names. Why? Why do you need so many names? Because God himself is not a name. He is the endless light. Ein Sof Baruch Hu. His names are his what? Emanations. The light can go through and emanate through one slide, another slide. You don't like what's happening? Change the slide. How do I change the slide? Oh, you need to access the file, right? And change the slide. Okay, do it. How do you do it? You have that name. You have Youdkevitch. You have the Youdkevitch spelled out. You have it spelled out at tertiary level. Why all of these levels? When the light spreads, it emanates and goes down to more and more sophisticated and complicated and complex levels. But that's how it's wired. That's how it's built. What's in it for me? As the Rabbi Exile is teaching, as your brain is trained to think this way, one day you look at the screen and you see the matrix, and you start to edit, and you realize you can edit the screen, not with a whiteout. You go into the file and you edit the file itself. That's a true change. That's a true transformation. That's a true control. Not external fake control. That's a real control. Which means yesterday I was enslaved to certain emotions and now they're gone because I edited the file. They're not there anymore. They're not scary anymore. They're not threatening anymore. Why? I changed the file. I didn't change it with whiteout on the screen. I changed it by going into the original file. And where is that file stored? On a cloud. In the book of Exodus, we'll have many clouds. Everything is around the clouds. When they come to Mount Sinai, what's the first thing they experienced? The cloud. They were first time they were instilled, connected into the cloud. What's in the cloud? Everything. Everything is in the cloud. The good ideas, the inventions, everything comes from there. They are building new programming, the ability to get the right code in which with that code you can change the whole file. And then the falling became ascending. Then the loss became a gain. Then the darkness becomes the light. And then you feel like, wow, isn't that amazing to be alive? Isn't that amazing? This is so exciting. Can't wait for tomorrow. It's going to be so much better. Instead of like, not another Monday. Okay. But that was not only the 42. It says, Amar Rabbi Shimon, V'chishchina yada leMitzrayim Yaakov, the divine spirit, the Holy Spirit came down with Jacob. Amar lo velo, and not. V'hikatuv anochi yered imcha. God says to Jacob in the past parasha, in Vayigash, I'll go down with you. V'alcha gam alo. I'll also ascend you out of it. Why did he have to go down to Egypt? If there's no pain, there's no gain. We learned in the whole book of Bereshit. Those people had amazing, amazing lives. Wow. Abraham and Sarah, Isaac, they saw stuff nobody ever saw. Was it easy? Oh, that was a rose garden, but mostly the thistles. But they went through it and didn't care about the thistles. Oh, they were scratched all over. They were wounded and bruised all over. But they smelled the roses and said, you know what? I'll take it for the whole package deal. Right? You know, they were so righteous. They wanted a baby, wanted a child, something special. You know, some people get married and poof, they have a child. You want an Isaac? You think you're going to get it like this? Till Sarah was 89. Only then she got pregnant. Can you imagine? How much he prayed for that? And Abraham, till he was 900 years old, and Isaac was born. You want an Isaac? Not for free. You want to be Sarah? That doesn't come for free. You have to pay the whole price. What do you want? Okay. So they're coming down, when the Shekhinah comes down at Yaakov, 600,000 merkavot ima, 600,000 chariots went with the Holy Spirit into Egypt. So, why did they have to go into Egypt? The answer is like this. And it's another message for these parashot. We find ourselves in exile so many times. What does it mean in exile? When you're not, the word is gola. Gola, it means it rolled over, which means you're being rolled over from your original place, and now you're lost somewhere that is not your. I'm not tucked into anything. I'm not connected to anything. I was rolled over from my position, and I don't know the way back. That's called exile, gola. How do you roll back and fit in and like switch in that you feel like the light bulb, when it's not rolled into its position, it's nothing. Piece of junk, right? Can't do anything with it. It's worth only when it's rolled into its position, the right exact to the millimeter of position, and then it lights, it shines. That's about all, each one of us. The problem is like this. During the process of the creation, in order to give each one of us a chance, the game was created. The name of the game is Look for the Treasure. Now, if you play with kids about looking for the treasure, and you put the treasure in a pile just in the front of their room, boring, right? But if you hide it in all kinds of unique places, and you give them all kinds of codes in order to get there and to open, this is so fascinating. That's a game. So there was a part of the process that God split the universe and broke it into pieces. And there are a lot of treasure pieces, holy sparks, that were exiled into all kinds of corners around the universe, around the world. And we, as humans, we're playing the game, Look for the Treasure. And each place we arrived at, it could be a physical location, it could be a state of mind. In that place, you're being faced with your next stage. There's some, I never seen, but I saw in the trailers, reality shows about looking for the treasure, the race for the treasure, the race for the million. Okay? And it's exciting because it's hard, it's tough, you have to look for hints, and then you find, correct? That's our lives. Wherever you are, there are some sparks, holy sparks, waiting for you to lift them up. You can't move to the next stage before you figured out those sparks. How do you turn these sparks in and lift them up, raise them up, make them ascend out of the darkness, out of the klipot, out of the situation? It will be a dire, negative, upsetting, whatever, not comfortable situation. And when you turn yourself to the right state of mind of positivity, excitement, love, faith, trust, and certainty, when you have the right state of mind, and your right state of mind of ascension to the Creator, those lost sparks in that place, in that situation, will be sucked out. You corrected, next. And then, in no time, you're out of there. And it's like, sometimes physically you stay in the same place, but you feel like you're a different person. It's like, where are all these demons that were there before? They're not demons. You meet the person that was like, every time you saw the person, that was like a nightmare. You see the person, oh, he's a nice guy. What did I want from him? Why? You already got out, unstuck from the previous place, because you corrected, uplifted the sparks that were stuck over there. So that's not your problem anymore. You'll find no problems in the next stage. No threats, no fears, no doubts, no pains, no limitations. And what do? Oh, not again. I thought it's over with. Why, you want to die already? Why, you don't want to play the game? You don't want to go to the next stage? So, these 8 weeks, we have a very powerful energy of ascension, that a person through prayers, meditations, using the names, and so on, you can really make a tikkun. And what does mean a tikkun? You can pull, you can suck those holy sparks that are stuck in different aspects of your personality in your tikkun that you did not lift up, who knows how many lifetimes, during these weeks of the Shovavim. Why Shovavim? It's initials of Shemot, Va'era, Bo, Beshalach, Yitro Mishpatim. But this time it's Shovavim Tat, Trumat Tetzaveh. And what Shovavim means in Hebrew? You call usually in modern Hebrew, you call rascals. What's rascals? These are the kids that have a very unique way to get into trouble, right? All of those moments in our lives in which we got into trouble and didn't fix it yet. What I mean we got it in, there's no by coincidence. You get into a trouble, why? That's your treasure to fix. Now, you have to sift through it, sort through it, till you find the holy sparks, the treasures inside. How? You find what's the good in it. You don't allow the situation to control you. You have that amazing devotion and trust and faith that lifts you up. And with that, you suck all of those holy sparks out of that previous place. And then you have no idea what was that. What was my problem? What did I want from them? Why I was so upset? I don't understand. I can't figure it out. Why? The moment you clean the file, it's gone. You do save, right? What about all the typos that were before? Gone. Gone. They're not there anymore. So you're not upset anymore because everything is right now into place. You achieved another level of redemption. Okay? So this is the deepest layer of this parasha and this book. It's so much about consciousness. It's so much about spirituality, and it's so much about the Hebrew letters and the names of God. So let's see more about it. Immediately after that, they come to Egypt, like in few verses, Vayakam melech chadash al Mitzrayim, there's a new king in Egypt. Asher lo yada et Yosef, he didn't know Joseph. That's chapter 1, verse 8. And then he comes with this thing, let's subjugate the Israelites. But that happened then. Today, the Pharaoh, as we said, Pharaoh is our body consciousness. That's why you can see in the word Pharaoh, Pe-ra. What's Pe-ra? Evil mouth, bad speech. Pharaoh is also letters of Ha'oref, the neck. You use the neck for what? Stiff neck, red neck. All kind. When you want to show about someone, they don't understand. Right? Their consciousness is not helping them. You use the word neck for that. Stubbornness, right? Pharaoh was stubborn. No, you don't get it. Okay, 1 plague. I still don't get it. 2 plagues. I still don't. 3 plagues. Only the last plague. Okay, get out of here. Oh, now you're getting it. Did he really get it? No. They leave and said, why did I let him go? And he runs after them. Only when he loses all his army in the Red Sea, maybe he got it. At least he stopped to be a nuisance, right? But here it says, Pharaoh tries to subjugate them, and says Rabbi Ezekluria. So he builds for them Arei Miskenot, cities of misery, or being miserable. What makes people miserable? He said, what's the name of the Arei Miskenot? Pitom and Ramses. It says in the Arei, what's Pitom? Pi Tehom. You eat and you eat and you eat, your mouth sucks everything like a food processor, and it's never satiation. Pi Tehom, the mouth of the big ravine. What's the name of the other one? Ramses. Ra, evil. Meses is belly. Evil belly. It does, when there are people that after food, some of them they think always about getting something into the mouth, and some of them think about getting something to your belly, right? It's two ways of subjugating human beings. Being slaves to your body consciousness. And it's like, it's all about the food. Food addictions? That's the most common, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. But here, the story goes on. We have to, and there's a story about the birth of Moses. Pharaoh, there's another part of the story that it's the souls in Egypt. They came, it's not the first lifetime. They were already in a flood. What was the correction in the flood? To be drowned. Not everybody paid the whole full correction. So, they come now in Egypt and Pharaoh gives an order to drown the boys. That's to fix the souls that did not get all what they needed in the flood. But some of them did not have a correction with the drowning, they had another correction. And the correction was because they came from the Tower of Babel. What were they doing in Tower of Babel? They were making bricks in order to build the tower. What Pharaoh says to them? You should make bricks so I can build my cities. So it's the same formation of language because there were souls from the flood and from the Tower of Babel in that group of people that are called the Israelites in Egypt. But what does it mean that each one of us comes to this world and we have a package? We have a baggage. We have some debts that we are karmatic debts that we are carrying who knows how long. So it's now. Why not now? Okay? And then it speaks about that special boy that was born by Amram and Youdkevitch. And as he's born, she saw him and he was good. He was the light. And what's his name? Vateret, we don't know. This is weird. Vateret bat Paro. His mother puts him into a little floating ark, right? And he is floating on the Nile exactly when Pharaoh's daughter comes to the water. She sees the baby crying, she pulls him out. ותרד בת פרעה לרחוץ על היאור. ותשלח את המטה ותיקחיה, she pulls him out, ותפתח ותראה את הילד והנה נער בוכה, and so on. She sees the boy and she adopts him. What's her name? Batya, the daughter of Youdkevitch. We're talking about the divine presence, right? It's all symbolic over here. And she names him finally. Vayigdal hayelad, that's verse 10. Verse 10 already in the book. And the boy grows up. Vateviyahu lebat Paro, and she gets it, the daughter of Pharaoh. Vayila leven, he's a son for her. Vatikra shmo Moshe. And she calls him Moshe. And it says, Vatomer, and she says, why? Ki min hamayim meshitihu, because I pulled him out from the water. I pulled him out from the water. But if you look at the word Moshe, not Moses, Moshe, that is his name. It's the same letters of Hashem, the name. What did we say the name of the book? The book of names. Who led us to learn how to use the names? Moshe. His name is the name. That's what Moshe is. What name? The name that can pull you out of the water when you're drowning. That's a name. That's a name. What's in a name? That's a name. The ability to ascend and to go above. And then, Vayi bayamim hahem, that's verse 11 already. Bayamim hahem, on those days, Vayigdal Moshe, Moshe grows up. But in Hebrew, it's a game of words. Vayigdal. Little is someone who's confined within his box. his misery, his negativity, his imitation. What can I do? I'm this. What can I do? I'm that. What can I do? What can I do? I shouldn't do. I can't do. Nobody ever did it. That's small. You call people what a small person, right? What a narrow-minded person, which is again Egypt. Tsar, narrow-minded is Tsar, Tsar Ofakim, Mitzrayim. But here, he raises, he grows, and Gadol in Hebrew means great, big. What do I mean big? This guy is really a great person. What does it mean? Someone that can raise himself above the smallness, above the limitation, get out of the box. In Hebrew, Katan, Gadol, this is the two opposites. Katan, someone who's confined inside, he will never fight reality. He will always allow what he thinks is reality to subjugate him. He will always like, what can I do? This is what he does. That's a limit. While a Gadol is someone that, who said it's going to be like this? We have to, it's the kind of a person doesn't accept a no as an answer. He's a Gadol. And that's why a Bar Mitzvah boy is called Gadol. The moment he's Bar Mitzvah. Why? He has the ability to start fighting, to think big. Think big. Don't think how your brain thinks. That's small. Think how God thinks. Think like God. When you think like God, like a creator, you find a solution. You find the truth. If you think small, you will have a problem for every solution. You know those people, every solution you bring them, no, but that can go wrong, but that can go. Oh, so tell me, you don't want a solution, you like it. You like it to stay here and to cry. That's what you're, okay, that's your choice. I got it. He grows, and when he grows, it says, Vayetze lecha, he can get out, and what does he see? He sees his brothers, and he can feel their pain and misery. Do you know how tough it is? How many people live in denial? They don't want to see people suffering. Why? They don't have time for that. They have to get another job. They have to get another yacht. They have to get they have to buy another shirt, another thing, another device. They're so busy living the life. They don't have time to feel somebody else's pain. It could be even their spouse or their child. They never see them. They're so busy running inside the box after what they think is going to bring them to heaven. Their own heaven. What is slavery? People remind you about your suffering brothers. You hate them. You hate them for that. Don't remind me. Don't show me there's something like this. You live in suburbia America and everything looks so good. Somebody comes to there's a seminar about those people suffering there's a genocide in Sudan, there's a genocide, there's so many genocides happening. There's what's going on in Venezuela, there's what's going on, there's suffering. Nobody wants to hear that. Why? I'm busy. I'm busy. Being able to get out and to be there and feel somebody else's pain, you can say in the ivory tower, Moses, he's with Pharaoh. Why does he have to see his brothers? It's annoying to see your brothers suffering. Why? I'm okay. I'm okay. Why didn't you see them? He's able, so he's ready. And then he sees, it says, Ish Mitzri Makei Shivri Me'echav. He sees an Egyptian man beating up a Hebrew man from his brothers. Moses, which side are you? He was raised as a prince of Egypt. He has to make a choice. Which side are you taking? The oppressor or the slave? And he takes the side of the slave. Look, humanity did not have that option till that time. It was very clear-cut between the important ones, the ruling class, and the class that is being ruled. Slaves and owners and masters. That's how the world used to be till not long ago, right? Even when America was established, 1776, there was a big class of slaves. till 1860, when, till we're starting with the Civil War of America. That was not all. But have you seen Gone with the Wind? What a beautiful life those people had in the South, in Virginia. Wow, what amazing life, yeah. In Georgia. But that was on the backs of millions of slaves. They were masters and they were slaves. And when you see the South falling apart in the movie, oh, what a shame. What a shame. When America turns to a place of not masters and slaves, but middle-class people, that each one of them has a little house with a lawn, and everybody has his own bills to pay, whatever, but there are no upper class and slaves. Most people are middle class. That's freedom. For a lot of people, that was disaster, right? Moses. Freedom is a cost for a lot of people because you can't go on with being in denial. And he says, and I'm not talking about each one of us has aspects of slave and aspects of a master, in which you really think you are a master, but you're really a slave of your own. How many masters do you see that are really happy? And what Rabbi is teaching us, you cannot give what you don't have. If you can behave in cruelty to people who are down from you in the ladder, you're not happy. If you don't have compassion that people that are not fortunate as you are, you're not happy. Because when you're really happy, you feel for them and you want to help them. So simple. If you can't feel for them, you can't help, and you don't want to help them, you don't want them to be in front of your face. Take all of these homeless out of my face. Not because you really care for them, because that disrupts the spirit of the holidays. You run and you want to see everybody happy. Suddenly you have to stop and help someone? No, this is not good. So Moses kills the Egyptian. We'll see later on, he didn't really want to kill him. But that was a mistake. It cost him a lot. On the next day, he got out again. He still can't stay in his ivory tower. He wants to help. And he sees two men, Hebrew men, fighting. So, Vayomer LaRasha, he says to the bad guy, Lama takerecha, why are you beating your friend? Verse 14, chapter 2. Vayomer answers the evil Hebrew, מי שמך לאיש שר ושופט עלינו? הלהרגני אתה אומר כאשר הרגת את המצרי? Who put you as a man, as a minister, as a judge over us? Are you saying to kill me like you killed the Egyptian? So we learn from that Moses used a name. Why? He didn't say, are you going to kill me? No, you saying to kill me. And says the Exile, you killed the Egyptian with a word, you're going to kill me with the same word. What is he asking? What is he asking? Lama take recha. What? But the word is take. Take is from the 72 names. Kaf heitaf. Kaf heitaf is to remove negativity. The Hebrew saying, you're going to kill me with a word like you killed the Egyptian. It's removing negativity. So there is a saying, once in the millions, there is someone who has only negativity. There's nothing positive in him. When Moses erased that negativity, nothing was left. So he died. Moses didn't want to kill him. He just wanted to take away the negativity. But also there's another code, Mi Samcha Leish, which is kind of irrelevant. Mi Samcha Leish, the last letter of each word, Yud Kaf Shin. This is a combination from the Ana Bekoach, which is to suck out all the positivity from the negativity, so like it's a reset. Using both words, Yud Kaf Shin, both names, and Kaf Eitaf was deadly. That Egyptian was so negative. He disappeared. He died. But Moses is saying, oh, here we go again. Okay, we have to get out. Everybody knows. He flees. He runs away. 40 years later, he's married to Jethro's daughter. He's with the sheep. And it's the story of the burning bush. Right? The burning bush. He looks at the burning bush. He comes to see, but it's like the word is he's turning to see. You don't say that. You see approaching to see. Okay? What's happening over here? And here you have another story with a name. Like if Moses, you're so well versed with all the wisdom of the universe. He was raised as a prince of Egypt. He learned all the wisdom of Egypt. He learned stuff also in Midian. He learned in other places. Otherwise he wouldn't be able to be Moses. Right? He comes and he, in the burning bush, remember the story, he asked, who should I say sent me? What's the name? What do you mean? Say it's God. No. God doesn't say to him, say Youdkevitch sent you. Say Aleph K Yudke sent you, which is another name of God. What's the difference? Why God has so many names? God is endless. Each name is another emanation, another power, another revelation. Moses says that the Arizal was sure that the correction is in the level of Youdkevitch, the Tetragrammaton. Why? Says the Rabbi Zohar, the world was in such darkness, so much witchcraft and evil, premeditated, focused evil, to pull any source of positive power and to take it for the dark side. What happens if you use too much electricity from the grid? Pops. Why? The system knows to tell that you're drawing too much energy and you can drop the whole system. That's what happened when the Egyptians were so powerful. It dropped. What happened? How did it apply? That the name Youdkevitch, that symbolize what? Love, kindness, and unity. And that's why in Hebrew, ahava is love, numerical value 13. And oneness, echad, is also 13. 13 plus 13 is Youdkevitch, the Tetragrammaton, 26. That consciousness was the plug that had to be taken out and go back where? Where in the previous emanation. And it's like, what the Arizal is saying, it's like the child, the son, went back to his mother's womb. What's the mother's womb? That's a higher level, above that level of Zeranpin, the level of spirituality and kindness, whatever. That into Bina, and Bina is what? The supernal mother. So here the whole story, says Dari, is to deliver the consciousness of Youdkevitch, the consciousness of, yes, I believe in freedom. I believe that things are good. I believe in compassion. I believe in chesed. I believe in charity. I believe in good deeds. I believe in the light force of God revealing through compassion, and I want to become like this. This is a stage of mind of spirituality. That was not available. Because of the witchcraft, it's like the son went to his mother's womb. So the whole thing is called also to deliver, because it's birth. It's the mother, the divine, spiritual, divine, holy mother, giving birth to the Holy Son that will bring, that is the hope. We're not talking about a physical woman. We're not talking about a physical man. We're talking about the spiritual, as we said in previous teachings. When we connect in Chanukah or in Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur to the source of life, who feeds you? Mother. That's level, it's called Binah, and the name for it is Aleph K Yud K. Aleph, Hey, Yud, and Hey. Moses thought that because the correction is in the level of Youdkevitch, it has to take 10 sfirot, 26 times 10 is 260 years. During the burning bush incident, it was only 210. And God is saying, the one who sent you is Ehyeh, the name of the Holy Mother. And that's 21. 10 times 21, 210. Moses, that's what, and 26 and 206 is Sar. That's why it says Vayiki Moshe Sar. It's all about the names. It's all about the programming. What kind of letter combinations are running the story? Suddenly Moses realized, I made a mistake. The deliverance is now because the deliverance is from Bina. It's all the deliverance is about the name of God, Aleph K Yud K. And that's why it's not I shall be who I shall be, or I am what I am, whatever translation it is. No, Ehyeh is sending you. Tell them Ehyeh is sending you. That's where you're coming from. And delivering, it's deliverance of that state of mind of Yud-Kei Vav-Kei to the world. Coming out, that's what coming out of slavery is about. Right? And when you start the birth, how does it start? With blood. What's the first plague? Blood. However, remember the game we played with the letters? Here's the same story. There's not just that you spell it out. When you take the Yud Kei Vav Kei, Yud Kei Vav Kei, you spell it out, Yud Vav Daled, Hey and Yud, Vav Yud Vav, Hey and Yud, numerical value, 72. When you spell it out in what is called Ribua, Yud, Yud and Hey, Yud and Vav, Hey Vav, Yud Hey and Vav and Hey, gives you 72 again. If you do Aleph, Aleph Hey, Aleph Hey Yud, Aleph Hey Yud and Hey, 44. Dam, blood. So where is that the plague of blood coming from? Opening the first level into the supernal mother. It's all game of consciousness. The deliverance was to deliver the firstborn of God, his only child. State of mind of freedom. Yud Kei Vav Kei. And that's why later on when he says to Pharaoh, you do not let my Ni Bechor Israel, my firstborn Israel, to go, I will kill your firstborn. And that's the last plague, the plague of the firstborn. Only then, go, get out of my country. So just in short words, we're into this journey. So when things hit you, when you feel uncomfortable, when you feel upset during these 8 weeks, especially in these 8 weeks, ascend, Ana Bechoach. You know, you have all the meditation, use the 72 names, everything, because when you ascend with excitement, you fixed lifetimes of stuff that you didn't fix yet. It's all coming now. So it can be a troublesome, very aching, upsetting 8 weeks, and it can be a journey of your lifetime. Have success. I'm wishing success to everyone, all of us. Thank you.